Hello everyone, Lynx here and welcome to the remainder, Act 1 to be more specific. So I've got an email to play it before the game's release, and it's coming very soon because in June. I actually don't know the exact date, I just know it's in June. And well, it has quite an interesting idea about itself, so I decided we'll play it. Also, yes, no webcam today because I'm a mess. I'm a mess a little bit, but it's fine. I mean, I wanted to record yesterday, but I fell asleep, and yeah, we are doing it today. For once, without webcam. It's alright. Let's see what this first game is about. Of course, link to the game in the description as per usual, but for now, let's see it. The remainder. How to play. Click anywhere, choices. If you miss, you can again, okay. Once you discover a letter or a journal entry, you can find it in a gallery, okay. Hover diamond to reveal a menu item. Diamond, okay. The story will include description of violence, death and suicide, as well as mentions of mind-altering substances and activities. It's recommended for a mature audience. I mean, that's what this channel is, technically. Technically, I do have it set, so it's shown only to mature people. Technically. Damn, it looks good. I like this. Waves crash in the distance. Cicadas chirp. A breeze caresses our hair. The sun warms our skin. All is well. We're sitting on a rug laid on the grass, hands linked together. Our singing voices float up in unison. My chest vibrates. I can feel the air in our bodies move as one. The space between us hums with power. I close my eyes and smile, savoring the feeling. My dream is coming true. Just a little longer. Okay, what was that about that? Oh, okay, skip, auto. Was this the diamond? Those supposedly diamonds? Skip, auto, history, save, load, gallery. Gallery? Oh. Oh, there are even... Okay. Places. Interesting. Okay, so this... Okay, let's not have a look because that might be a little spoiling. Letters. Are we supposed to have access to those straight from the beginning? It's beta. It's never mind. I'm kind of worried we shouldn't have the access, so I will not have a look at those. Their singing falters, and I peer at them curiously, trying to hide my annoyance. Why did you stop? They squeeze my hand with a smile and shake their head. Their skin is cold and clammy. Ha! What has gotten into you, I ask. They gesture at the sky. With an outstretched hand, I look up. The sun has ducked behind a cloud. Drops of wetness fall softly patting the ground. You don't see it yet, do you? I frown, still peering up. What do you mean? When I lower my gaze, they are not there. Ooh. Pressing my lips together, I stand up and surge around me. You know what would be nice? I don't know if there's a keyboard shortcut for that, but if you could actually hide the text box to see the entirety of it, that would be nice. You probably can see this in the gallery, but yeah. Pressing my lips together, I stand up and surge around me. Where did you go? It's pouring now. The cicadas are silent. Wind trips at my clothes. I look at my hands. Thick, warm, red. A sweet scent fills my nostrils. I venture a lick, metallic, greasy. So, blood basically. What in Lura's name is happening? Darkness falls soon. I can barely make out the silhouette of my hands. A sense of urgency grips me. I run to tower and throw open the door, shouting, "Where are you?" You know what? I think actually it was a good idea to not use a webcam today for this game. Because, I mean, I would say mostly because the text box covers a lot of screen. It's a little different, but yeah. I think a webcam over here would just make a mess. Anyway, empty halls stretch before me, echoing my question. Then again, it could have been just beneath the text box. Anyway. In the far end, a figure is walking away into the dark. "Hey, wait!" Shouting, I run after them. Feet pounding upon the sticky wet stones, echoing loudly, squelch, squelch, squelch. Now, I will constantly go into the options. I thought maybe there was some sounds to that. I said wait! What was their name again? Why can't I remember? Why are you surprised? What? My, look at you. The voice chuckles. Falling short where it counts again. I ignore it and keep running. Sing the name. I'll know them when I find them. I grab the slippery doorknob and barge into the room. Nothing. What's this room? Damn. Are some experiments done over here? Another door. Okay, this is library. Nothing. I run my hands over my hair, fingers digging into my scalp. What the? I recoil when I realize the sticky stuff is smeared all over. I wipe it on my clothes, but it won't come off. Okay, I'm guessing here. Very much. But it looks to me again like a description of a blood, to be honest. And you know, like, I wipe it on my clothes, but it won't come off. It's kind of what you see, well, basically movies, anime, manga, comic books, or whatever. What someone who killed someone would say. And they, you know, for some reason still see the blood on their hands. I wonder if that's actually the case, but I don't plan to test it out, but because why would I? But, you know, I might read actually. We could check this out. Yeah. Just check out some testimonies or whatever. Anyway. Sing this. I curse. Interesting, curse. Clench my teeth and storm through the yet another door. Look at the poor great Magus, all alone in their tall stone prison. Oh. Seems like I might have been correct about this blood. Shut up! My voice echoes back as I stand in an empty room. Hot breaths rasp in my throat. Why was I running so hard? Why am I so tired? Why was I struggling? My legs tremble and I sink to my knees. It's alright. Everything is fine. Whatever it was, it doesn't matter right now. Eyelids heavy, comforting numbness envelops me. I close my eyes and crumble to the floor. Just for a moment. Everything is fine. Ooh. The sea in every direction, endless, a diamond dusting of moonlight across the surface above me. I look down into the depth. I have no idea what this picture is supposed. Is this the rooftop? Or should I say the ceiling, actually? A pressure against my chest as the darkness stirs. A star. Then two. Then a constellation glitters into life. They approach. The darkness was not the bottomless sea, but the body of an enormous fish. Huh? Its silhouette filling my entire view. A gaping mouth splits open from horizon to horizon. A deeper black within. Approaching. Buzzing. The progenitor hacks through comes for me. I should be afraid. Her mouth, now all-encompassing, blots out the last remainder of feeble illumination around me. I should be afraid. So why am I not? The mouth shuts with a distant clank. A flash of lightning across the eyelid sky. Hey, what? Come on, wake up! Prickling light in the comforting darkness. A rumbling rises and falls in an anti-music rhythm. Calm coolness gives way to crushing heat. A blanket of boulders smothers me. Hey, you alright? Do you hear me? My eyes struggle open to a face. Ah, no, go away. Someone grips my shoulders and squeezes. Still a bit out of it, eh? That metallic and greasy buzzing sound crescendos and my mouth tastes of iron. A hand is laid upon my forehead. Oh, I actually seen this guy. I mean, he is in the main store page, Steam store page, so yeah. I open my eyes again. It's easier this time, but the rest of my body is still heavy as stones. I can't budge a hair. Feverish but not obvious wounds. You'll be fine, I dare say. Their brows furrow deeper. Stay still and listen to me carefully. Your spell had gone very, very wrong. It's going to kill us, and I haven't got much time to fix it. After a pause, they pat my hand, as if an afterthought. What are you talking about? What spell? I worked my stiff tongue. Don't worry about that, Fat. Just stay put. I'll deal with it. They turn and stride off. Hey, wait, what's up? A hoarseness burns my throat and I wheeze. I peer around, trying to get a hold of my surroundings. I must be dizzy still. Everything is spinning. Why are the books flying? I squeeze my eyes shut again. This is not happening. I will wake up soon. Sounds trickle in. Rustling, clinking, a storm raging outside, a guttural buzzing. How can I sleep like this? Annoyed, I drag myself sluggishly to my feet. An urge to gag rises, rubbing my throbbing temples, tasting a fullness in my mouth. I force down the bile. What did I do last night? Damn. That incessant buzzing. I rub my eyes again to clear them and look for the source of the sound. As I catch the sight of it, a cold terror creeps up my spine. A pulsing, churning thing is suspended in the air, like space is swallowing itself. Just what kind of spell did you trigger, mate? Waves of moist, brilliant heat spew from it. I mean, I guess one of the prizes for that spell might have been the fact that he doesn't remember a thing. Interesting. The transparency, the symmetry, the stench, the singing. Breath catching in my throat, I freeze. What in Lura's name is that? Shapes huddle beneath the grotesque thing in the air. I just step around to get a better look. They resolve into figures. Midnight, silent, and still as bones. The white-haired person who woke me earlier stands still. Another person is curled up on the floor, their face a mask of anguish. The emblem of a high magus hangs around their neck. The image of an eel coils around their arm. Why? Why do I know these symbols? Whitehair's hands are raised in a peculiar gesture, toward the vortex looming overhead. "Hey!" I whimper. "What are you doing? What is that thing?" It looks like they are frozen in place. "Hello?" I ask again. No movement. I bump into something and look to see a couch. Beside it, there is a table, on which cups lay about like drunkards. Inkwell, quills, and crumpled papers are strewn across the table and the stones beneath. A few bottles are still dripping from the mouths. Dark red spots splatter across the floor. Could it be that I was wrong about the blood and it was all wine? A crash from somewhere else in the cavernous chambers pierced the silence, jolting me. I duck behind the couch, heart pounding fast. There comes Bunk. A sound of glass shattering, shouting. A cacophony reverberates painfully from the walls around me. I clutch my ears. Are there people fighting here? Please, let me wake up already. This is not funny anymore. As abruptly as they came, the sounds die down. Is it over? Clamping eyes shut, I try to block out the buzzing, praying, let this be over soon. Let this be over soon. Let this. How did you get there? I nearly jump at the voice. The white-haired person is back. Slumped next to the couch, head lolled, a hand to their shoulder, breath shallow. What? I just saw you over there! I turn and see the same person still in the spot under the vortex, and my mouth hangs open. Why are there two of you? I turn back to ask and see something drip from them. The glistening fluid shimmers and vanishes after it hits the floor. In before there are three, and we are actually him as well. Maybe. Are you melting? I back away a step. I heard shouting. Is there someone else here? They try to speak but wince instead. Eyes closed, throat bobbing, spitting out something black and then resting their head back. They flash a slight grin and whisper. Yeah. But it wishes it never set foot. Violent coughing traps them, more fluids drips down and evaporates. I wrinkle my nose. I see. I don't see what in the death is going on here. What does it look like? They say. I glance around the room with a scowl, taking care to avoid the floating thing. Like the end of the world? Another wins. They lift a finger and point. What about that? Do you recognize it? I realize they mean the vortex and avert my eyes. No, Devarna, no. You are Devarna? Absolutely not. Should I? I can't resist a shudder. They grimace. Sink me, not even that. Your handiwork. Excuse me? I scoff. You heard me. That thing's here because of you. The Abzdvara. A door to the last place you'd ever want to be. Make no mistake. Their eyes widen with fear and their mouth curls in disgust. I wish I knew what that is, to be honest. I have no idea what Abzdvara is. Is this I wonder if it's a creation for this game or maybe Abyss Devara. Yeah, seems like this might be something for. Okay, I wanted to say from after research, but it seems like this is something for the game because it literally dropped me the Tumblr of the game. So I'm not gonna check. Maybe it will be revealed later into the game still. I mean, this is definitely the door somewhere. To some place we don't want to be, but what this place exactly might be, I mean, I would like to know that. Curiosity rising, I push myself upright and study the scene again. Nope. I think I would remember doing something like that. The unmoving figures catch my side. You still didn't tell me why there are two of you. Or what the other person is on the floor. They gesture to the prone figure. Bit slow on the uptake, huh? Aren't we? That's you. The one who caused all of this. A great magus, farseer, savior of Daran Square, prodigy of the age, so on and so forth. Huh. They're looking darkly at me now. Tell me, you remember at least your name? Yes, my name is... What's my name? Oh my god. What was my name? Oh my god, what was my name? Should we go with what the game suggests? Let's go with what the game suggests. Vin. The words tickle at the inside of my head. Magus. Vin. They say weakly. Not to state the dear situation, but is someone amusing to see yourself like this now? Amused? Try skeptical. Even if I believe you. That I'm this Vin character. Vin character. That still doesn't explain who's lying. On the floor there. The stranger shakes their head and chuckles, then tilts their head limply toward an ornate mirror meandering through the air nearby. Easier if you go see yourself. I roll my eyes, step to the mirror, and pull off its velvet cover. Show me how I look. I would rather keep it vague. Safe? Let's go. Is this me? I don't know. I haven't seen myself before. No? What I see leaves me stunned. The figure in the mirror is the speaking image of the person on the floor. I turn to look with wide eyes, then back at the mirror again. Every last detail, down to the small pieces of metal embedded in my skin, which I'm only now noticing it's all identical. Then, just for a brief, the eel on my arm seems to wriggle. What eel? But I blink and it's still again. I feel lightheaded. This is not right. But how? How am I in two places at once? I turn to the figure next to me. Are we dead? Is this the afterlife? And why do you know things when I don't? How is this fair? And just who are you? They laugh soundlessly. This is too rich. You don't remember my name either. You're I don't know, like... You're a magus. Magus. Merlin? Another fit of coughing. Not even close. Not even close. You must hit your head quite severely. Worried, I run a hand over my scalp. There aren't any holes. I don't remember hitting it. But that's just how it would be if I did hit it, isn't it? My voice trails off. How shall I say this? Eyes closed and lips parted, their voices barely whisper now. The name's Ilar, your partner. Don't know what you did? Found you like this. They push out the words with effort. I lean closer to listen. A ritual must go astray, and set loose the Abyss Dvara, stripping away your memories. I did what I could. You'd be gone otherwise. They are silent for a long stretch. I nudge them. Are you still with me? They open their eyes again and struggle to lift their hand and point toward the other side of the room. But it flops to the floor. Sink me. They're getting so quiet. I have to put my ear next to their mouth to hear them. Warm breath tickles me. Blood rushes in my ears. Your desk. Look in your journal. Find the spell. Circular gate. Black powder. Mantra. Only way to save. No time. Go. They slump to the floor. Holding my breath, I wait. Heartbeat like a hammer in my skull. The buzzing fills the would-be silence in between. Resonance of torment. I drive a thumb in my temple, crushing one in pain with another, a futile effort. Hey, are you alive? I reach a hand to their shoulder. My hand passes through them. I pull away in shock and watch open-mouthed as Ilar's body melts into sticky, transparent strands. A few breaths later, they are no more than a shimmering puddle. Tumbling back, I land on my butt and scream. I throw my hands over my mouth and clamp tight, hoping that I wasn't loud enough to draw attention, staring at the spot where Ilar had been. By the depth. I relax my hands and mutter once my heart slowed down to a less painful pace, realizing that a few glowing strands still cling to my fingers. I shake them off in a panic. My skin crawls. Devarna, what do I do now? Find and cast a spell? Are they mad? I don't even know what the spell is, and what happened to them. Are they dead now? Devas, what do I do? Investigate my surroundings, search the rest of the room for the desk and the journal. Get as far away from here as I can. What? I can save now? Oh, come on. Shit. You've got me now. I could save before other choices. That sucks. Cheats. Technically, the save before the choice is kinda cheat, right? I mean, we were supposed to go to the desk, so let's go there. Now I can save. Heart pumping, I spring to my feet. There is no desk nearby. Where could it be? Now that my head is clearing up, I can finally see more than a few paces in front of me. The place is a disaster. It looks like half a library's contents are caught by unseen currents churning around the vortex. Books, parchments, translucent globes, and cryptid skulls swim like fish through the air. Beyond this layer of mess, there are even bookshelves meandering in the periphery. I dodge under floating chairs, vases, paintings, a veritable maze. Ooh, nice. A lump bumps into my leg, stretching it into shimmering, transparent strings. Before I can react, it snaps back into place, wobbling. I feel a red-hot needle slowly being pushed through my thigh. I cry out, dropping to my knees. But in a blink, the feeling's gone, as if it never was there. Noticing that my leg still works, I hurry out of the field of debris, not daring to come near anything. I catch sight of an enormous desk at the far end of the room. Seeing no more obstacles, I ease my panic breath and walk over to it, fervently hoping that the journal will be there. What a disgrace. Save for a heavy book squarely set in the center, aligned with the edges. Everything else, papers, scrolls, measuring tools, writing, instrumentals, all the scattered about carelessly. Actually, it's not looking that bad. I mean, I had way worse of a mess on my desks throughout life. I file a mental note to put it in order when this is all finished. Observing the book, I notice the precisely spaced stitch marks along the spine, evenly placed rivets, meticulously inscribed Vin in the letter. My jittery breath steadies. My head clears somewhat. Okay, this medallion over here, by the way, it looks kind of similar to that supposed portal, I believe we've seen. Interesting. This must be the journal. Probably. If I can find the spell, I can save myself. I flip open it. Maybe you can save the others as well. Hello there. Here my journal then. Will you help me make sense of all of this? The paper is smooth and firm under my fingers. A thick aroma enters my nose. So familiar. I close my eyes and inhale deeply. Memories tickle the back of my head. When I open my eyes again, the arcane symbols seem to regard me even as I look at them. Like seeing an old friend. Written words, soldiers of the intellect, regiments arraying on a planar battlefield, written in decisive hand. Mine. Geometric diagrams, sigils, maps of heart and spirit, beyond words, ordered beauty. It must take days, perhaps weeks to draw each, but what is time to acts of chaos defiance? A row of strings hang from the bottom of the book, each with an ornamental coin tied at the end. Bookmarks, perhaps. Okay, so basically he's some kind of magician, right? And it seems like he tried to use some, I guess, magic that he was not supposed to use. And it all went wrong because of that, I'm guessing. At least that's what creeps in my mind after half an hour into this story. By the depths. It's an encyclopedia. How will I ever find one spell in this? You wish you had a PC and the Control F option. A scratching sound comes from somewhere to my left. I tense up for a moment. Is it some debris or... I wait. Another scratch. Then another. Something sharp against wood. I swallow. Heart pounding. Could be whatever Ilar was dealing with. What do I do? The scratching keeps coming in twos and threes. From the same distance now I realize. If they wanted to harm me, I'd be harmed already. Now be brave. And look! I carefully turn my head. There is an arched doorway nearby. Dense blackness lies in the hallway beyond it. I squint. An amber glint flashes. Another scratch. I crane my head forward. Is it there? Oh shit, that's creepy as heck. A shape ever so slowly detached itself from the darkness of the doorway. Its fur is so black it looks like a moving shadow. Its features are sharp, merciless. It walks tiptoed, sinewy muscles rippling under the fur, poised to lunge. I stumble back, hand fumbling behind me, searching the desk for a weapon. My fingers grip around something I look to see a knife. A little sigh on the base of the blade turns its gaze to me and whispers, "Thirsty! Feed me!" I yelp and toss the knife. It clacks and falls behind the desk. I turn to see the dark creature inching forward unsteadily, peering around the room, sniffing there, pausing at every little sound. It's distracted. I might have a chance. I tense up and ready myself. The creature winces and clutches its head, and I bolt for the circle of debris. Should have taken the knife, to be honest. Caught by surprise, it closes at my arm, misses, tears a shred of fabric away. I hear a strange hiss. When rapid footsteps on my heels, I don't dare slow down. Yeah, don't look back, man. Just run. If you went with that option, just run. Something sharp snatched at my rope. Tear it, but without enough catch to stop me. It's closing in. I can't outrun it. What do I do? I hear him right behind me. Yeah, stop. Did it just speak? Something large moves in the corner of my eye, then I hear a crash. I turn to see my purser knocked to the ground by a bookshelf turned projectile. Ooh. Don't stop! Come to me! Ilar's voice booms. I turn and see them moving their arm in an arc, and several thick vases from the drifting flock launch toward the creature. A head-on smash. Myriad splinters fly out. I wince at the imagined pain. But when the pieces have settled, I spot their figure some distance back, on all fours, mostly unharmed. How did... Ilar takes a few quick steps to my back, muttering something under their breath, then throws their open hands toward the enemy. It leaps back, bounding several meters at once, landing near the doorway. I wait for Ilar to press the attack, but they simply step out from behind me and glance at our attacker. What are you waiting for? Finish it! It seems Ilar doesn't hear me at all, they just stand there. I look toward the dark figure who's staring at me with pain in its eyes. It opens its mouth to say something, but all that comes out is a sound somewhere between a gargle and a hiss. It clutches at its head. Again, with both hands, eyes bulging, straining. Ilar chuckles, and with a flick of a wrist, launches a cabinet. The invader grimaces at me and vanishes in the dark doorway. The cabinet smashed into chunks, so loud that it hurts to hear it. The room is quiet again, save for the rain and the pounding in my chest. What happened? I thought you died. You turned into... Still panicked, I fumble the words. Ilar's triumphant stance falters and they hunch, clutching at their shoulder. Hold the tears, love. Love? What? I was only nearly dead, but enough to draw out that creature. I cringe. Don't call me that. Draw out? You're using me as a bait? You won't be. I thought we were being partners, and worked in it. Did you see the look on its face? I cross my arms and consider it for a breath, then sigh. I suppose. So, who or what was that creature? That might have been a Lucasi, attracted to vulnerable humans. Slippery as eels they are, but we outwitted this one. Oh, it was... okay. Skeptically cross my arms. Is that so? Quiet. We won't have to worry about it for a while. Why didn't you finish it off when you had a chance? I peered around nervously. Throat tight. These Lucasi. Are there more of them? Ilar swallows, seemingly uneasy all of a sudden. Eyes clamped shut and swaying. Are you right? Say something. I reach out a hand in case they topple over. Just the one, they mutter. Oh, good, I think. Not sure what to do with my outstretched hand. I scratch my nose. Breaths returning to normal. They straighten up with some effort, massaging their throat. Yeah, I should do that too now. I mean, I have water, so it's fine. Ilar finally shakes her head and says, "No, this isn't delightful, but we should probably get to work, eh?" Why do I feel that this is somehow not the same one? Gives this vibe somehow. "Come now," they say, leading toward the back of the room. My head is bursting with questions now that the danger has passed. But when we get near the darkened doorway, my pulse quickens and I hesitate. With just a few gestures of the hand and some words I don't recognize, Ilar slams the door shut and blockades it with loose stones. "Show off," I mutter, staring at Ilar. Then notice them visibly hunch and wonder how much it costing them to do these things. A thin, silvery thread drifts close to my face. I wave it away, thinking it's spider silk. It sticks to my hand, and I realize there are dozens of those threads growing out of Ilar's shoulder. Now that I'm paying attention, their form also seems to flicker, insubstantial. Their hand is so feverish it's uncomfortable on my skin. My own hands are flickering the same way. I draw up a sharp breath. What is happening? Noticing my growing unease, they face me, waving a hand nonchalantly. "Don't worry, it's normal for hard weasels under these conditions. Or did you forget that too?" Who said I was worried? I was just curious. What is this hard weasel? And stop reminding me that I forgot things. They shrug. "Of course you are. Their bodies made from waters, energy condensed, somewhat elementary as far as magic goes." Interesting. Confused, I glance toward the statue-like figures. But Ilar seems to have read my thoughts. "It's a profane weasel. You run core to this realm, you know, your flesh, also quiet." "Elementary, right?" I answer flatly. "So that's why there are two of me. One physical, and the other is sublime," Ilar finishes. "You're catching on," they smirk, putting a thumb under my chin. Eyes glitter with admiration. "Exquisite." They tilt their head from side, examining me. Caught off guard, my cheeks warm up, I scowl. It took some skill crafting this body from my waters, if I may so immodest. A shame it falls apart in the currents. Good thing I can remake it as fast. Oh, it was him saying that, okay. They click their tongue. "I wish you knew what a fit it is, but alas." A real shame. I can grasp the extent of your greatness, your modesty. I swat their hand away. A puff of hair, fine strands detaches from them, drifting perilously close to my face. I flinch. "Huh?" They put their hands behind them, turning serious. "So you understand why I would appreciate it if you didn't stray too far from your physical body?" "So as not to have your masterpiece fall apart." I gulp, humor fading. They nod and start walking again, leading me on. "Precisely. It'd be a waste of my waters, not to mention very unpleasant for you." Queasiness comes over me and I feel itchy all over. I brush away the strands, rubbing my arms, pressing the illusory flesh, but the itch won't go away. "I know if this will help you, but you don't remember what sunkens are you, do ya?" They say after a few steps without turning around. "Nope." "Huh?" "Bottom dwellers of the seas, heartless, hollow, hungering things that just go on trying to feed for an ion, but can never satisfy their cravings." Their voice drips with disdain. "No, are they lurking here too?" I step closer to Ilar. They shake their heads. "Not yet. Not yet, but if you stray from your body or me for far too long, then..." They look down pensive. "Memory, reason, Even the essence of who you are might be lost, so... Oh, so that's what happened. Promise me, you'll come back right away if you experience anything strange. They pause and then nod. Don't make me worry. Eyes heavy and head numb, I rub my temples, muttering. Stranger than all of this. Ilar gives me a flat stare. Oh, you'll know when it happens. Will I ask? Will I ask myself. How do I know what I've already forgotten? I look at Ilar, wondering just how much they know. Is that what happened to my memories? Oh, come on, I can't save it. Why don't you look for the spell instead? Then let's stop wasting time. I mean, we were supposed to look for some spell, right? Let's go with the option of... Actually, you know what? Let's find out if that's what happened, maybe. Am I already becoming hollow? Please tell me it's temporary. They look aside for a moment. They say, might be best to not overthink this. Overthink it? What if I never remember who I was? What's the point of living then? The pitch of my voice rises. But they're as calm as ever. Memories are like vapor, they come and go. You can make new ones if you survive. They dead have no such luxury. Luxury, yeah. Are you saying it is possible to recover then? I need an answer. I mean it is, yeah. The grip on my wrist tightens. Listen to me. If you don't find the spell, you die. Not even a magus comes back from death. But if you find it, there is still a chance. Do you understand? Head down, I nod. Then it downs me. If it's dangerous to be far away, then why can we not just take the book and bring it to our real body one? It should be like to where our real bodies are. I think that would make sense. And never mind. It is right there. I motion in the journal wildly. It will make the whole thing so much easier. A shrug. That's the obvious thing to do, yeah. Unfortunately. Unfortunately, one of your precautions prevents it from leaving your desk. You see, things you worked on are somewhat delicate nature and you made sure that nobody takes off with it. That's crazy. How do you do that? They clear their throat. Only you knew how to undo those safeguards, and since your recollection is limited at the moment, I'm afraid we must work with what we've got. I stare blankly at the floor. Of course. Why would I make things easy for myself? Other thing, Velukasi is still around, no doubt bidding its time. Don't let it approach. It lies. It charms. He will try to trick you. If you see anyone else here, anyone at all, run back to me at once. I clutch my head and sigh. What does it want anyway? To eat me? Ilar licks their lips. Yeah, and can you blame it? Then they look me up and down. Yes, I can. I stare at them. You're serious? I don't want to get into details at this moment. Suffice it to say, be watchful at all the times. And for death's sake, don't agree to any propositions. Lucasi are powerful to begin with, and now impossible to get rid of if you make a deal with them. Let's make a deal to get rid of them, you know. We have to be sneaky in that, I guess. If they are sneaky, you can be sneakier. If that's a word. I rub the bridge of my nose. Let me get this straight. I have to remember all these things to avoid being eaten, but I can lose memories at any time. There has to be another way. I grab Ilar's arm. What if you stay with me the entire time? What if you never let me out of your sight? Ilar shakes their head. As much as I'd like to, I must rest. That means no hard Weasel for me, and very limited awareness of this place. Oh, Lura, this is not happening. I pace in a panic, heart rising. Oh, I clicked twice somehow, sorry. Insect flashes. Don't you have a spell or something to help me remember? Something hard to forget. That's not a bad idea. Ilar messages the back of their neck and Ginger looks around the room. Let me see. I think I changed the voices like 5 times already. They take a few quick steps away, pluck something from the air, return to me. Gripping my hand and looking at it all over, they fixate on a spot on my wrist and jab something into it. Awa! Wincing, I instinctively jerk away, but Ilar's grip tightens, holding me still. Look at me and repeat this. Let the image and words burn into your heart. Sensual pleasures wane, but pain I make my uncle. Long as the pain endures, I too shall remain. I grunt, struggling. Say it! The intense look in Ilar's eyes leave no room for arguments. I try to steady my racing pulse, but they drive the sharp object deeper into me. It burns. I struggle more. They pull me closer and hiss into my ear. Say it! Gasping for breath, I push the words out through gritted teeth. Abruptly, Ilar lets go, satisfied. I stumble back, pulling my arm free. A shard of metal drops on the floor with a clink, leaving drops of red. Still catching my breath, I shout at Ilar. How dare you! What you asked for? You could have warned me. Ilar shrugs. I thought it'd be no trouble for a magus of your caliber. I fume silently. Still grinning, they move on. I leave you to the journal then. Remember, it's a ritual via circular gate, some black powder, and a mantra. Can you manage that much? Sorry for yawning, by the way. I guess, I said, not at all certain. They smile and reach a hand toward me. I look away. Don't touch me. Shh, no fun. They pull their hand back, smile only wavering a little. Once you find the spell, bring me the instructions. I'll tell you how to proceed, and the Abbas Dvara will soon cease to be a problem. Simple. I can make out even more of the objects behind them now. Their form is thinning out by the breath. Harry! With a mischievous grin, Ilar gives me my wrist a squeeze. The pain of the cut flares up again. To be honest, I don't trust this guy. There is something about him that doesn't give me a trust, to be honest. I have very, very high trust issues over here. You won't forget this, right? Can I save? Oh, come on. I wince. I narrow my eyes. I mean, if it was me, I would probably be able to stay calm. I mean, I feel pretty calm over here, so... No, not likely, I reply with a steady voice I can manage, refusing to meet their eyes. Their grip tightens for just a moment. I did not expect him saying no. I inhale sharply. Excellent, it might just save you, you will see. What did he ask? Is there a log? History. You won't forget this. Oh, okay. No, I won't forget this. Okay, makes sense. So what I meant is... No, I actually expected him to say no. What was I speaking earlier on? Oh my god, I should have recorded during the day, I think. My mind is really not feeling fresh for this. I have fun though. I enjoy this story. I like those dark stories, to be honest. Okay, let's see what's next. Oh, he's disappearing. As they finish speaking, they let go of me and begin to disintegrate. I take several steps back and staring as they disappear. Their smile is the last to go. I wonder if even that can be done on purpose. I still don't trust this guy. He seems sketchy. Finally alone. This is a lot to take in. Oh no, can't save. I mean, I don't feel angry. I have trust issues. This is a lot to take in. I give in to the wave of exhaustion and slump to the floor. I'm so tired. How can I possibly get out of this? What did I do to deserve this? Why is this happening to me? Pathetic. Why me? You're pathetic? Don't you get it? No one's coming? Only you can help yourself. You will have to do it. Trust yourself. Your own self. I clamp both ears shut and shake my head over and over again. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Echoes dance in the great chamber. The voice in my head recedes, but not without leaving a last retort. Coward. I will show you who's the coward. I mutter, pulling myself to standing by the desk leg. I will show you, I tell myself. Remember, don't forget, don't let anyone approach. That's true. Find the spell. I repeat the words in my head over and over, trying to make them stick. Okay, don't let anyone close and find the spell. Don't make any pacts. Pages on the book flutter through the air. What? It's still? Weird. I'm procrastinating, aren't I? Yeah, I am. Yeah, you are. Fine, I'll get to work. I regard the book, pondering what to do. Where do I begin? Can I save? I can't. No, that option, no. Actually, you can see which option I am on because it's lit up. You can see the cursor for. I must have been a formal magus indeed. Hello, journal. It's me, your master. Let's whatever. Let's go with the last one. Why not? Hello, journal. It's Finn, your master. I'm going to need a miracle. Please tell me you have one. Closing my eyes and desperately hoping I pinch one of the bookmarks at random and open up to the page it marks. It reads: Date July 2nd, 9548. Damn. Mark cleansing. Expulsera ritual records. Held by visiting shamans of the Orients. A potent brew of mapacho leaf was drunk by a circle of third-degree magi, myself included, resulting in distressing nausea and pain of the chest. It reached a point where I wished to be dead rather than to endure another moment of that pain. Then suddenly, I found myself transported out of the profane realm and into a pentagonal chamber within the seas. Damn. A group of the Varna seemed to have been expecting me there. They instructed me to take a knife with a single eye on its handle. Wasn't this the knife that you dropped earlier? And carve out a portion of my heart that was tainted black. Wow. I did as told and was then ejected back in the profane plane, vomiting profusely until a piece of still pulsing flesh came out. Don't tell me it was a part of his heart. The knife had also been magically manifested in my hand. It was part of his heart. I felt a most pleasant sensation of joy and relief in the chest, followed by the surge of waters. I was told to discard a piece of flesh, but chose to keep it for further study. How is it still pulsing? How long will it persist? What can be done with it? I must experiment. VFAA. Interesting, but I don't have a clue what it's about. There is no mention of gate, black powder, or mantra. I thumped the side of the volume. It's at least 1,000 pages. Bite my lips and push on. Be flexible and look for something else. I mean, technically that spell might be on the next page as well, right? If such spell exists in the first place. I think let's be flexible. Judging by the size of the book, it might take me a moon or two to simply read through it. I'll have to be smarter if I want to survive. Yeah, I mean, and we can't stand by the desk forever, right? There's a predator around as well that wants to hunt us down. And second of all, we were supposed to return to the other guy, supposedly, because we might lose the memory again? Can this happen actually? I'll have to be smarter if I want to survive. Absent-mindedly, I finger at the cat that's starting to itch, scrutinizing the rest of the desk. I mean, technically, I would say if I have to guess, the spell we are looking for would be somewhere at the end. I mean, why would it be in the center? I mean, that's my guess, of course, but I feel like what you are working on right now should be the most recent I don't know, notes in that book of yours. So it should be at the very end, right? Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. Whatever. If I had conducted a ritual recently, there might be some evidence of that. Freshly jotted notes or hastily stored ingredients, perhaps. There must be something. Come on, Vin. Think like yourself. If I was me, where would I look? Thick coral round looks are set into each lower drawer. A furtive tuck, then a firm pull, both nest me nothing but a dull click. Me and my precautions. Undeterred, I decide to try every drawer, more of the same click. Nothing. You're not beating me this easily. I can keep going, thinking if I'm lucky, then one might just be open. With a hiss, the bottom left drawer slides out. My eyes are set aglow by a heap of crumbled and damp papers of every color, a tomb full of flowers. Head tilting, I scrutinize the collection with parted lips. And just who are you? With a barely audible crinkle, a violet-colored paper spreads partially open, revealing rows of text. Letters? Could it be? Head abuzz with curiosity, I picked up, unravel it fully and read. Today, we lunch by the riverbank. You have until mid-afternoon to come voluntarily, or else be picked up boldly and carried downstairs by me. Consider this letter your last and only warning. I wonder who wrote that. Different handwriting, intriguing. I wonder what else I can find out. Oof. I'm telling you this for the 100th time already. I know, but you're amazing. I mentioned how cute they were, but I never mentioned you'd actually bring one home. They must have cost a fortune. When did you even have time to procure them? Our new friend is perfect. What a mixture of aloofness and grumpiness. A mirror image of you practically. I'm thinking about naming them for the 100th birthday. I expect them to become a proper familiar like right after, so we will need something respectable. Mr. Foospounds, perhaps? I and FP. Huh. I. Ilar and Foospounds? I shake my head puzzled. More and more convinced that these were written to me, I grab another one. You really must rest and relax for a while. The study has become your prison. I don't wish it to become your tomb as well. I trust you didn't recruit me for that kind of undertaking. Was I some kind of weird recluse? I hope not. A deep rumble shakes... Whoa, what's going on? Phew. A deep rumble shakes my body. I look toward the abyss's Dvara. Its form is lost in a dense debris circling. The rumbling settles into a grating hum. It's hard to even think with the noise, but it feels to... But if it gets no worse, I might still get through a few more of these letters and perhaps piece together my past. And if it does get worse? Sink it, I'll take the risk. Sink indeed, aren't you forgetting something? Go away. Can a voice in your head smirk? I think mine just did. Reaching for another letter, I'm tense all over. A feeling gnaws at the inside of my head. I suddenly feel like a horse had kicked me in the gut. I have no idea how it feels, and I don't want to feel that. Ever. Knocking the wind right out of me. Doubling over, knees buckled, I wheeze. You forgot, didn't you? A pain pulses in my wrist. Now it's happening again. I have to go back, but the letters. No, I'll not go empty-handed. Straining, I snatch a few more letters and turn to leave, but a squirming in my palm alerts me. I look and see empty hands. What? I swear. I look down. Papers are dropping to the floor in slow motion. Look in my hands. I see sticky glowing strings hanging from my wrists where hands used to be. The odor of rotten eggs fills my nostrils. Biting heat creeps up my arms. Ilar looked like this before they disappeared. No, I plead, trying to gather up the streaks with my stumps, but more and more of me are turning soft and melting like cheese in an oven. Just run! As I stare, my skin becomes increasingly translucent. I can see fluids pump through veins with each heartbeat. Yo, seems like it's easy to say when you feel weird, you should run and so on, but it's happening instantly. He loses any power. Horror. Fascination. I'm frozen, unable to pull my eyes away. Parts of my skin bulge and tear open, spilling ooze that drift away into the unseen currents. The eel on my arm shudders, wriggles from the confines of my skin and swims away. My mouth hangs open, but a muddying itch creeps across my body and I let out a giggle. It itches everywhere, so itchy I can't stop giggling and shaking. My vision swims, lines and shapes melt. A sting on my wrist, Ilar's pain. It sets my heart racing. Wrist? I can still feel it. I can still move. There comes a distant voice. I try to turn toward it, streaks of color spin around me. No room, no depth, no dimension. Even when I shut my eyes, the afterimage flashes behind closed lids. I was a ghost wandering through an ethereal painscape. I imagine hearing Ilar's voice. Closer. Their shouts reply, asking them to guide me. The edge between my ears is so loud. Did they hear me? Are they replying? Is that the eel swimming alongside me? I follow. What I think is Ilar's voice. My feet are so numb that only rhythmic toots tell me I'm stepping forward. My eyelids are heavy, as boulders crashing together. I count my steps, one after another. No time, no distance, just the stepping. I don't know how long I go on like this. Something firm and warm touches my shoulders. I don't know how much time passes until I struggle my eyes open. Blobs of shimmering colors swirl and congeal into an impressionist gesture of a room. Seems like you haven't moved? Hot bright needles withdraw from my skull. Ecstatic coolness. I sigh, wincing at the agonizing relief, and finally drop the clutch tension and slump to the floor. Tears fall, but I don't care. Ilar's grip eases me down. Welcome back, they say as if I'd gone for a holiday. I can only wheeze. This, I swallow. This is the nightmare. Don't make you go back. I press my cheek to the smooth stone floor. Cold. Cold is balance. Balance is good. You said it would be easy. Almost. Death couldn't be worse than this. A palm touches my head. I twitch. It goes away. It comes back. Small motions. Stroking. You lingered, didn't ya? A shaking starts somewhere inside of me. Grows into a heaving. And then a soundless laughter. It all seems so ridiculous. Me. Looking for a recipe to close a portal. Helping the stranger who drags me about, hurting me. Telling me that it will be easy. And I can't linger. Straightforward. Don't overthink it, I say. My belly sore from the convulsion, but it won't stop. My world is a blur. Made it better like that. Sink it all. Sink it all to the bottom. Ilar's awkward panting resumes. You don't have to tell me. I know what it feels like. Another wave of vertigo smears across my head. And you'll get used to it like I did. Think of it as a lesson, if it helps. It doesn't. At least the room spinning is slowing. Ilar sighs. Dreadful, isn't it? I can almost hear their smile. To find yourself in such a strange place. Not remembering, not knowing. Peril around every corner. I hear Dave is not like that. You go to the seas, but not as yourself. You go as a new thing, emptied of the past, like it never was. Who knows, maybe that's how life is. Like, you know, your life ends. All of its memories, experiences, and so on are getting erased. And it goes on into starting everything anew. We'll never know the answer, I think. They look down with a stiff grin. Maybe it's not much worse than this. It almost sounds nice in a way. Does it sound... I wish I could have his story now. Let's go with the middle option here. The loneliness in her words brings a chill to me. Ilar had been the one with the reins until now. Guiding, encouraging, sometimes goading me forward. What would I do if they really gave up? The thought knocks the fire in my chest out cold. I should do something. I should say something. Ilar, They chuckle, running ahead through her. How embarrassing. I should be one cheering you up instead. I'm adding fuel to the fire. Or is it pouring water in your fire? Something poetic. Something poetic about the fire and water. You get the gist. They chuckle. I let out a sigh of relief. I might even smile if things weren't so horrible. But I managed to grumble, sorry. Very poetic. I would applaud, but my arms still feel like noodles. Ilar laughs and helps me to my feet. I've never seen them laugh. They look like someone else with the same face. Catching me looking, they clear their throat and look away. So, what did you find in the journal? As I open my mouth to answer, my bleary eyes bring in focus the Abyss Dvara, a few meters away, sneering with menace. I flinch, taking a step aside to put Ilar between it and me. Ilar's eyes flit sideways, then back to me, then sigh and smile sadly. Ugh, I gotten used to immoral things in my time, but this one's not so easy. You don't say. Ilar rubs the back of their neck, then peers up with mischief in their eyes. What if we gave it a nickname? It's hard to be brave about things if it has a silly name. What do you propose? Mashed potato. I love it. Makes no sense. I have a better idea. I love it. Haha. I love it. Ilar gives me a stern nod, spins on the heel and points at the Abyss Dvara dramatically, declaring, Then, I hereby dubbed the mashed potato. They tilt their head back to me. See? Still scared of it? A little less now? So, are you ready to go find a way to slay mashed potato? Ready as I will ever be. Oh, it deleted one line. Interesting. So where do we stand on finding that spell in the journal? Yes. There was something interesting. There was this bizarre entry in the journal. I wasn't sure what I was reading, but I couldn't stop. I had to know. It was about the ritual called Expulsora. Raising an eyebrow, Ilar asks, I'm impressed. It was a record of sorts. That's right. I think I took part in the ritual. Ilar smirks. You weren't always as straight-laced as you'd like to think. So it is true. It explains it somewhat. I sense tension in my head, a puzzle coalesces. But it raises another question. It always does with you, go ahead. I wrote down things like excruciating pain, being taken out of this realm, meeting some Devarna, and then vomiting out something that was pulsing. The hairs on my neck stands up as I say it. Stroking their chin, Lars says, That's not a question. I mean, I must have seen some extraordinary things. Beautiful things, scary things, disgusting things. Things I can't even guess at now. Are those memories all just lost now? If you're saddened by that, there is no need, my dear Finn. Why not? It happens to every human being one day. All that they've known and cherished, loved and feared, craved and loathed. All will be lost. No exceptions. You simply arrived there before you died. A quirk in the flow, that is all. A quirk in the flow, that is all. That is all. Does that not make you afraid? I don't see why it should. Because it could mean that everything you've ever done doesn't really matter. They don't. Not to the great depth. Just so much debris to feed the Lucasi. How can I say that? Are you even human? Taken back, Ilar fixes me with a narrow gaze. I swallow, wondering if those were the best choice of words. But I recover with a shake of the head. The old wind and I might have engaging exchanges on such a profound topic, but you at present. What about me at present? Yo! My cheeks swelled and I crossed my arms, waiting for them to finish so I can give them a sound tongue lashing. They shrug as if I'd asked them about the weather. You're not you anymore. Sadness hits me hard. Like a bucket of ice water dumped on the stove, I turn aside to rub my eyes, and don't notice Ilar walk to me until a hand is laid lightly on my shoulder.
That is good reasons I don't indulge in other questions. Their tone is not patronizing for once.
Not wanting to meet their eyes, I stare ahead and ask, what might those be? Ilar is silent again, considering their answer. Maybe. The fire may be out, but cinders still smolder in my heart, and I can't resist their late retort.
And what? If the way out of this mess is buried in my lost memories? Did you think of that? Perhaps, but to go down that route would be to stake our salvation on your reverting to your old self.
They take their hand away. Whoosh.
What is with you?
And comparing me to the old me. Am I truly that much worse now? Is that what you are driving at?
No.
A hand raised to the forehead in frustration. Ilar speaks in a tone so low I struggle to hear it. Sorry.
You keep looking behind you, wondering what was lost. I mean, it's 3 a.m. Can you blame me? Wondering what was lost, but you miss what lies ahead. And by doing so, you doom us both.
Their voice drips with dismay. I can only swallow. But then they chuckle.
If you want to regain something, then let it be the old wind's prudence. Do what is necessary. Find the spell. Free us both. Can you do that?
I let out a long sigh. Alright, I can do that. Sorry if I got distracted, I add. But it's 3 a.m. Ilar clears their throat.
You didn't encounter any mentions of the ritual we need?
Nope, I had no time. I stroked the spot on my wrist.
There are probably a few dozen spells in that book.
Ilar begins to pace back and forth, brows locked together, muttering. Those are not uncommon ritualistic components. Nope, won't get through that way, need more time.
We can't afford to make mistakes, Win. We'll have to do better than this. Did you find nothing else?
I know whether to be embarrassed, frustrated, or indignant. Let's just say, oh, wait, there are only 6 spawns? What? Okay, I guess. Let's save here. I tried to read more, but my body started falling apart. I almost didn't make it, remember. I feel the cut on my wrist, remembering. Wait, there was something else. There was a letter.
Huh?
It was signed by an I. Was it from you?
What was it about?
It sounded like you were rather forcefully inviting me to lunch.
Probably to save you from starvation.
I rolled my eyes.
Really? Was I that inept? No, inept. Dangerously absorbed.
It wasn't a big deal. Why are you asking?
No reason. Well.
Okay, I should get to bed actually. Or just switch the position I'm in, because I actually got way too comfortable. Well, no reason. Well, maybe. I don't know. I was just happy you found something about my past, not like you're gushing with information in that regard.
Why wasn't I? Let's see. Oh, mashed potato. Imminent annihilation.
I just want to feel a little more me.
You know what? Never mind.
Boop.
Look, I know things are dire.
I just want to feel a little more me. I've been like a stranger in my own skin, you know. They close their eyes for a moment and simply nod. I sense a chance to press on a smidgen. Did you send me letters often? I think there were more in the drawer where I found this one.
We were close.
How close?
I thought you read some letters already.
I shake my head. Only a few. But then I turned into noodles, remember? Gaze lowered for a moment. They say,
some things are hard to put into words.
What are they hiding, I wonder? What if I say a few words and you nod if it applies?
At the risk of grossly simplifying things?
Yes, if only as a start.
We'll get back to the search afterwards. Deal. I have your word?
Fine. I say, pondering my choices before asking.
Friends?
Not.
Colleagues?
Not.
Good friends?
Not.
Best friends?
Not. Something else? Nod. Alright, are you nodding to everything I say?
Only if it applies.
You're cheating.
I beg to differ. I know differ what you say applies to us.
But it's not helping me.
Grossly simplifying complicated things often don't. Now, will you stop wasting your time and return to the task at hand?
Conspiring against me, mashed potato grows. Begrudgingly, I swallow a few choice words. Fine, I grumble.
But this is not over.
They sigh. Again.
It will be if you insist on scavenger hunts. Our salvation is at stake, and I'm wasting waters here talking to you.
Alright.
Alright. I'll go back.
Good. This is not over, I mutter under my breath. Once again, I find myself before the journal, apprehensive, scratching my chin. It's all so bewildering. What should I do? What did Ilar say? Round gate, black powder, mantra. Alright, journal. Give me a spell with those things, please. I lift the cover. You opened it on the same page, mate. And it almost turns over by itself. Pages rustle softly as my fingers brush against them. It's strangely soothing. What if I don't find it? What if I don't understand it when I do find it? Shut up! But what if...
1, 2, 3, 4. What if 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 57,
58. The rustling stops. I look down. A 2-page spread comes in focus. A stain lurks in the groove between the pages. The left side of the spread lists a few components for a ritual. 1. A black salt sigil with the diameter of 5/3 measures. The length of your body, a voice whispers. Freshly spilled waters to fuel the reaction. Your blood, it whispers again. An illegible word follows. I squint. A drop, a dash, a pint. Surely not that would be suicidal. I make a mental note to ask Ilar and move on to the last item. A mantra for unifying the forces to be chanted 32 times. What an odd number. A drawing darkens the right side spread. I turn to examine it, but my eyes can find no focus. The lines fray into overlapping spider silk. God damn it. Strange, I lean closer for a better look. My bowels turn cold, but my eyes are enticed. Closer and closer. Childlike figures, some missing heads, other missing limbs, each incomplete, maimed, interlocking in an anatomically impossible way, forming a ring. One has an arm growing from a neck. Another legs branch apart spider-like. What are you? I whisper, almost touching the page now. Fascinating. I lean in closer. The black mass at the center limbs, its lines undulate. Like ripples on the sea on a moonless night. There is some movement under the surface. What are you? Yeah, I'm curious too. I shiver in excitement, eyes itching, unable to blink. A round protrusion at the very center of the inky blackness wiggles. What? There's a crescent slit running from left to right. It opens. Thief! I mean, not to bother you, but it looks like you should be running back. I put an ear to it. A faint warmth streams out from it with a hiss. There's a rhythm, a cadence to it. Are they words? My heart pounds. I struggle to make out syllables.
Not savvy. Sorry.
Sorry for what? I don't understand. I could never say it before. I half whispered it inside. It hardly matters now. Whether I say the words or not, it's you. You linger, you are the silence. A lump forms in my throat. The walls close in. A wave presses on my chest. Numb. I can't breathe.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate to hear you, me.
Why? Why are you saying these things? I try to pull away. My body is heavy. Joints creak.
Dismember all we lie. Destiny, fate, glory, immortality, all lies.
No. No, no. No.
Now. Please, free me, please. Heavier and heavier. Squeezing the breath from me. I need to get away.
There's a dual distant pain.
Ilar's pain. I'm not heartless, you know? No. No more. I will feel no more.
Dude, you should run, to be fair. The pain, I turn my heart to it. A spark of heat in the cold. My hand comes into focus.
Who gave you the right to impossibility?
I drive the wrist into the wood. The spark inflames. The heat spreads. The sense of a body returns. Fighting with every drip of strength, I slam the book shut with a resounding thud. The whispering abruptly abates. I double over, gasping for air.
Pat, as the sweat deserts my chin.
What in the great abyss? I drop onto the floor unceremoniously, head resting against the drawers. That voice. There is something about it, but I'm not sure what. Was it part of a spell? A message left by someone? What if it's a message from you yourself? I mean, it's your book. I touch the chilling numbness lingering on my chest, waiting for my heart to steady. This place is getting to me again. Every step I take forward, something jumps out and bites me. I squeeze my wrist, shaking my head. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. I should go to Ilar. They might know about what I just found. I look at my hands, a little see-through, and not the moment too soon. I make my way back, keeping a wary eye on passing debris, letting out a sigh of relief as an expectant Ilar finally comes into view.
How was it?
They come toward me. Horrible as usual. Oh. But I think I found what you're looking for. A ritual that involves a circular sigil made of black salt. I think it said has to be large. 5/3 measures or something. The other eyes light up. A ghost of a smirk rises, then falls from their lips, their voice low.
Go on.
It also asks for blood, the mantra. I only saw the sigil. The mouth whispering cold, I shiver. Ilar steps forward, excitement evident in their voice.
What about the sigil? Can you reproduce it? Did you procure the black salt?
The sigil, it said things to me. What was it? I try to recall, but each attempt to think brings a wave of pressure and cold in my head. I grasp Ilar's elbow, eyelids squeezed tight, swaying,
choking.
They grab me by the arms, demanding.
Well, what's the mantra? How many words? What language? Did you memorize it?
I don't like it. It feels wrong.
What about the blood? What kind? How much?
It feels wrong. I hear my voice reverberate. Hands balling into fists. I meet Ilar's stone gaze and back out of their grip. Very well. What if you are wrong about it? Echoes of melancholy and venom resound in my ears. My hand moves to stroke the cold numbness in my chest.
The things it said to me. I don't understand it exactly,
but it could not be right. It just couldn't. Hey, I smelled something shady from this guy earlier. Seems like this MC of ours also smells that nice. Right now, I mean.
Ilar's jaw clenched tight, vibrating with tension. Explain from the beginning.
Alright. The list of the ingredients seemed to fit, but the sigil, it spoke to me. It said, if the ingredients are right, then that's the ritual. Who cares? Do you know how it is like for me out there? You're not listening to me. Let them finish. Who cares about the curse books? What the curse book says? It's enchanted. For all we know, it just wants to chat. And while doubtful, I'm here staring into the face of the abyss. Have you an idea the dread that entails? The anguish on Ilar's face dampens the fight in me. I can feel it pulling at me, nimbling me away. And there is nothing I can do except to put my hope in you and endure it. Accusation, anger, and sorrow are written so clearly on Ilar's face. I am ashamed. I never saw it before. I never did consider what Ilar was going through. It was always about me. So selfish, childish. I'm sorry.
What?
I reach out hand toward Ilar. I'm sorry. I never asked about how you were doing. Their face twitches in bewilderment. They look away.
Doesn't matter now.
It does to me. I take a chance to touch a fingertip to their arm. A muscle works in their neck. I've been difficult, haven't I? It could not have been easy for you to be so close to that thing. And to... I hesitate remembering. And to have to put up with me. I wrap my hand around their arm. Ilar tenses, muscle trembling. Look at me. My voice is gentle, firm. Their expression is so stolid, unreadable. A mix of something hard, something tender, and something else. I'll try to make your life easier from now on. I squeeze their arm. Ilar closed their eyes. I'm almost holding my breath. Please, I plead silently. Final Ilar nods, tension in them melting away. I heave a sigh of relief. Ilar's eyes still avoid me. They sway ever so gently, looking so wary. I give them a tug and walk with them to the couch where I drop into it, and they sit down next to me. Feeling better? Ilar shrugs, but I see a glint dancing in their eyes, and a fleeting smile on the corner of their lips.
Ah, don't play coy now. Come on, how many times do you want me to say sorry? Wouldn't have minded one more.
And with that their familiar lopsided grin returns. And how long have you been milking me?
Who do you take me for, a common scoundrel?
Only because you fit the part so well at times.
You wound me.
Their arms go up in mocked indignation. I nudge them playfully in their ribs. They feign injury, covering their wound with both hands. I may to get them again, but the nerve seems to evaporate from Ilar's face as they drop their hands awkwardly to the lap. My hands hang in the air. I brush something from my hair. A few books meander past us, paper rustling. I'd almost forgotten about the buzzing. It fills the silence, bringing back an uneasiness. I was wondering, say nothing, you really should rest. Let's say you really should rest. You look terrible.
I beg your pardon?
Well, I mean your posture, I just thought. You look tired. Ilar chuckles, drops their gaze, darts a glance at me.
Have you been paying special attention to me?
Heat swells in my cheeks.
Well, yeah.
I mean, no, kind of. Then I see their smart grin and fold my arms, setting my jaw. I was just making sure you don't kick the bucket, right? I still need your help.
Sure.
They wink. We sit in silence for a few breaths, my cheeks cooling too slowly. Your waters. How much is left?
Difficult to say, not much.
Could you somehow borrow from me? They turn to me slowly and regard me for a long while.
You're acting strange.
Oh, I am.
No doubt.
In what way?
Well, different from before.
Their brows are locked in concentration.
You're no longer grasping for knowledge at every opportunity.
And that is a good thing?
Let's just say there were times where you were so bent on your quest that everyone else were mere instruments to you.
They look away, fidgeting with the necklace. And
now you're concerned for me?
You make me sound so selfish. Ilar doesn't seem to hear me at all. They get up, muttering and pacing back and forth, looking straight ahead bewildered.
Maybe it is possible. Maybe I was wrong.
They trail off, rubbing their neck. I wave hand in that direction. What's possible?
Oh, yeah, right. They seem to notice the way where they are. It's not important. Just musing to myself.
What? They exhale, shaking their head slightly.
I should go, and you should too. Take care out there,
Sure, I reply, not all sure. Ilar nods with a tight smile and then dissolves. What was that? I touch my wrist absent-mindedly. I've changed. I was uncaring before. Did I do something hurtful? Is that why they get so awkward when I bring up the past? Probably. I realize that, lost in thought, I've scratched open the cut. I shake myself out of it. You don't have time for this.
The past is the past.
That's true. Giving myself a nod, I head for the desk, hoping it'll be for the last time. I was totally prepared for this to end now. I don't know why. It kind of gave these vibes. Again, I find myself back in front of the desk, working up the nerves to open the journal. Whatever danger lies within, I must know about the rest of this ritual if I want to live. But perhaps not a frontal attack like before. Peeling open only a gap between pages, spying the number in the corner. I then open directly to the page after where I left off. The fool rushes into battle. The wise divide and conquer. No drawing here. I loosen a painfully tight grip, only a page of mantra verses. Even so, I ready my right hand to close the book in case. My left hand glides over to the words. At first I don't understand them at all, but I stay as relaxed as I can and keep my eyes on them, waiting. A rhythm gradually takes shape in my breathing. First, just a faint rasping, then a low mutter. Is my mouth moving to the letters on its own? Dreadful familiarity, meaning scratches at my scalp, but when I turn my attention to them, they disperse like skittering shadows at the edge of torchlight. So I relax again and just breathe, and they come back. I don't chase them and simply read. As I read, one line after another, a chill spreads into my fingers. A feeling like icy water drips onto the back of my neck. Oh, not this again. The room begins a slow dervish about me. A voice. It's definitely a voice. They're singing something over and over. Vin, 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 vin. They know my name. How do they know my name? So cold. My breathing stutters. Vin, vin, vin. The tune takes a downturn. Tiny needles of cold jab me all over. I hate you, hate you, hate you, hate you. Why? What did I ever do? The page flutters in my shaky hands. Had to have the last say, didn't you? To leave me a gasp, without room to retort, without time to respond. What are you talking about? The singing drops to a haunting whistling. I hold my breath to listen, words on the edge of recognition. But you would whistle those tones, they would make you smile. I let you have those. Quieter and quieter. I press my ear to the page. Chill radiates from it. It cannot be. How could it be? How was I to know? Where would I start? I would have had to say it countless times. Say what? A shrill tone like a kettle boiling in the distance. It peaks, glides down, then shatters the scream that splits the night in two. The sorrow of it, my heart breaks, hair stand, tears stream. I'm sorry. Where I said it, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, 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 sorry. I can't stop the tears. Please stop. Please save me from... Push on. Please stop. Please, someone screaming, bleeding. Is that my voice? What's wrong with you? Why can't you get yourself together for once? Do not give up. The first sign of difficulty this time. I find the spot where I stop with a shaking head and try to read again. Something under my finger pulls my attention away from the voice. Then it happens again, more insistent. I pause, wondering what it could be. There is silence within me. The voice has lulled. When I turn the page over, a laugh escapes me. I stifle it with a hand. A folded paper bird is stuck within the groove. Keep it, put it back, embrace it. Embrace it. Holding it up closer for inspection, my eyes brighten and my heart feels, for the first time since waking, a glow. Its body is ethereal, the blue of hopeful melancholy, its neck a delicate swoop, its wings reach upward, ready to take flight, so delicate, innocent, soft as soft can be between the world and me. Are you mine too? Do you know my story? Can you tell me who I am? Does the head bow just now? You were important to me, weren't you? I had the feeling that I'm forgetting something, but what was it? As my hand moves over the bird's tail, a dull pink spot glows under my finger's touch. I stroke again, and the glow answers. A tingling of excitement washes over my scalp. I bring closer, breathing quickening, eyes squinting. Lines and patterns emerge, swoops, circles, words. Eyes wide and hands jittering, I trace along the bird's every groove and edge, heart concentrated on the tips of my fingers. Twisting here, pulling there, a corner under the right wing slides out of its nook, and the bird transforms into a letter. You know, normally I would cheer you up by making a joke or baking a cake, but I can't bring myself to do it this time. You failed once in a few dozen experiments. Where's the rest of it? Succeed once in as many tries. Besides, what are Maggie's scars built upon but the bedrock of failures? If you're still sulking, maybe this will lighten your moods. Ever yours, Ila. P.S. I lied. Lemony crumbles are in the kitchen. I look up. Ilar. So they can be quite sweet. Why are they different now? Is it because I am so different? No. It's probably because of mashed potato. I know. You are taking the blame for this mashed potato. Noticing the symbol, I move my finger toward it, curious, hasty memory of the stained journal page still lingering. Oh, that's strange. The electricity is moving through me. My arm, on my shoulder, my head. What is... A cool silence fills me. Vast space opens up within, pushing away the heat of the room. Spots of light in all of me of me swell and shimmer, joining together into larger pools, drawing out the lines, easing away edges and shapes until light is all I see. In lightness, I float, breath coming through and opening atop my head miles wide, feeling a breath that smiles deep. I am this luminous space, cold spots dancing around me. Immer world, the green of the dreams, a garden. Leaves rustle, cicadas sing, the grass is cooling against my back, a soft breeze brushing my hair. Isn't this from the beginning? The air shimmies with muffled words from someone and snorting laughter from me. I look up, a face resolves into clarity. It spreads into a raucous laughter. Ilar. I try to say something but realize that I can only watch. Ilar is sprawled on their back, one arm a folded cushion for their head. I'm lounging next to them, enjoying the cool shade of a tree on a sweltering summer's day. Vin, a sing-song voice calls me. Heat on my wrist, fingers traveling across the back of my hand, their eyes peer out from under lush eyelashes. A coy smile, pulling the corner of their lips, revealing a dimple. I know what you're thinking. Don't. What? I was not thinking, I retort playfully, pulling my arm free. Ila rolls over with a grunt and lazily snakes their hands to the side of my neck. The heat of their skin and the toes the air combined is unbearable. Ah, stop that! You're cheating! Memory me wriggles pointlessly. My head feels pleasantly fizzy. Was this how close we were? I'm saving your life is what I'm doing. But I start to protest. No. Their thumb starts tracing circles on my throat. Slow, excruciating circles. We had a deal. The rest of the day off. I hear myself mumble a vague agreement. Their hand pulls away, leaving equally excruciating absence. Thank Lura. I couldn't have kept that up if I wanted to, they say, collapsing back onto the grass, sighing theatrically. Light blooms, shapes melt together, voices fade. What? That's it? Where's the rest of it? Check back. Check the back of the letter. Nothing. Fuck. Press the symbol. Nothing. Damn it. Close the eyes. Nothing. It's so frustrating. How am I supposed to think about anything else now? Ilar just conveniently forgot to mention something like this, did they? But how long ago was it? I read the letter again, turning it around to make sure. No dates, I mutter. Of course not. That would be too simple. Maybe it's from a long time ago, and things are different now. I could ask them. Maybe. Some of our previous conversations surface. Or maybe not. I cannot decide. It's so frustrating. I should work on the spell. It is life or death. I'm going to ask them right now. Clutching the letter, I rush back toward Ilar, barely noticing the debris. Huh? Back so soon? Good news? Not really. What happened? Things. Things? Chased by a pack of rabid bugs? Kind of things? I changed the voice, sorry. Not exactly, no. Then what? Stop playing games. We have spent time together, yes? I mean, in the garden. There should be a nice garden around here. Have you lost your marbles? Summers are hot in this country. Her face screws up. Are they being danced on purpose? I grunt. Did you suffer some kind of traumatic head injury? Memoryless? Like you did? It's not about me. I pause. Well, it is, but not just. Ilar winces. I need to sit down. I ignore them and focus on framing the question. He sits down, pours themselves a drink. Where did you get that? Found the bottle on the floor. Help. Here, help yourself. I grab the bottle and take a big swig, then wipe my mouth with the back of my hand. Ilar arches an eyebrow at me.
What?
I was thirsty.
Are you going to ask me more questions?
Wait, it's brewing.
Alright.
Here goes. I exhale. Did you or did you not say that we were, I quote, partners when you first woke me?
I think so. What does this have to do with anything? Is your head alright?
Please, I'm not finished. I try to stay calm.
Stay calm, stay calm.
What kind of partners? Did we work together, or did you work for me, or was it something else? I take a sip. It's empty, but they don't know that. I don't meet their eyes. Ilar looks down, ponderous. I notice how tight I'm gripping the bottle.
Yes. Choke throat burning. Yes.
Ilar gets up and starts pacing.
Yes.
To what? They turn their back to me and mumble something.
Come again? All of it.
I twitch, fumbling with the bottle, dropping it. When I look up, they've already vanished.
Hey, wait, come back here.
I feel it candles flicker as they drift by. Shadows dance. I scratch my head. All of it. That means we're also something else. If I close my eyes, the rain hitting the window in sheet sounds, almost like cicadas singing. I listen, putting my hand on my neck, remembering the garden, the breeze, the heat, the sweat. What am I doing? I shake my head and drop my hands. This is no time for daydreaming. But why did they run off? What are they not telling me? It doesn't matter.
Do what needs to be done.
I sigh.
Magyar's so complicated.
Why couldn't I have woken up as a poet? When the worst I would have to worry about is fumbling rhymes. That's silly. I shake my head. It's not like I get to decide who I wake up as. Or do I? I pat the letter. I'll rest for 50 breaths and then return to the task. Get it done this time. I whisper in my pocket. Just you and me now, little friend. You'll protect me, right? You'll stay by my side. A trickle of hope flows into me. 1, 2, 3. $50. Alright, time to go. I dodge through the swirling debris and soon stand before the massive desk, corralling my thoughts. What needs to be done? Copy the sigil, find the black salt, get something sharp, memorize the mantra. All tasks are done by reduction. Subtract, divide, execute. Brevity is magic, magic is brevity. My heart is racing again at the thought of touching that awful page. I should tear it out and sink it into the abyss before this is done. Or else it might haunt me for the rest of my days. I imagine ripping it out and crumbling it into a ball. Or maybe shred it into tiny pieces. Or set it aflame. Please don't do that. A quiet meowing drifts down from somewhere above, breaking me out of the grim exercise. I stiffen and take a step back, remembering what Ilar said about the dangers that might lurk here. My spine tingles. I swallow, look up slowly. From the shadows above the giant shelves beside the desk, a melon-sized black shape pokes out. My throat tightens, ready to reach for something to hit with. A pair of pointy ears raise up from the shape, and I inhale sharply. It's a puffy-looking black cat.
Devarna, you nearly scared the waters out of me.
Wait, you remember the name of the cat? Interesting. It blinks, sniffs the air, then hops down the table, making nary a sound. Reaching out a hand, I hunch down toward it. It approaches me warily, sniffling, glancing around, head ducked, occasionally wincing. Come, I will not hurt you. It stops just short of my hand and gives it a flat stare.
That someone will someone
That's something someone who would hurt me would say. The cat spoken. What? A speaking cat? Dude, what's the point of getting into science if you have a speaking cat? You can make a fortune now. Okay, that's not true. Anyway, we don't know if the cat talks, right? Ever so delicately, I close the gap and pat it on the head. It immediately purrs deeply and rubs its head into my hand. I shut in pleasure. My heart nearly melts. I stroke it all over, feeling its lush fur and the extravagant fuzz on its hind legs. By the Divarna Fußpans! Excitement vibrates through me, breaking my voice. Okay. Fußpans bumps. Okay, now that's interesting. Xer? Was it supposed to be her? But X is pretty far away from the H, to be fair. Speaking of which, my god. I have so many keys that do not have letters on them. Damn. That's ridiculous. I might need to get a new keyboard eventually. I mean, this one works, so it's fine. But yeah. And purse, okay. I was starting to worry about you. Where have you been all this time? Are you hurt? Do you remember me? I read about you in Ilar's letter. Oh. I scratched Xer behind the ear. Why do you say Xer? Why can't I access... Okay, I don't know. I can access the log, but it's not in a natural way, like usually. Because usually with the scroll you can, you know, go back with the text or basically trigger the log. It doesn't work here for some reason. I don't remember him reading about the cat, to be honest. Mashed potato makes a grating buzz, and Fußpans ducks away, ears flattening, visibly agitated. Xe turns around and leaps atop the shelf. I let out a silent wow. Xe stands and looks back at me, tail swishing. Was it the name? Wait, where are you going? Xer raises one paw and jabs it twice in front of Xer. What? The gesture is so purposeful that I raise an eyebrow. Xe flattens Xer's ears, swishing her tail, then jumps down, head bumps me and leaps up again. Huh? What's the matter? Don't you want to be back with your human? Ilar, they'll be so excited to see you. Fußpans blinks, swishes her tail, then pats off into the gloom. Hey, wait! And they are gone, I say, dejectedly looking up. The beams and joists high above me still seem quite intact. I can't tell at all where the cat has disappeared to. It could probably get anywhere in the library from there, or even other places in the tower. For a blink, I wish I was a cat. I smile, recalling the softness in my hands. Xer's as temperamental as Xer human, that's Fußpans. To bet I'd have liked to bring Xer to Ilar. Would you guys want to be cat? I mean, technically I'm from that family, right? Given that I use the name of Lynx, but... like an actual cat? I think I wouldn't want to be. I mean, lynxes are cool, but other than that, not much of a fun. I don't mind them, but I don't especially like them as well. That's why I always say that cat girls are not the best option as well, because they aren't the best option. Fox girls are better option. Wolf girls are better option. And I mean wolf girls, not dog girls, wolf girls. Anyway, then again, I might get another earful for wasting time on distractions. I can almost hear Ilar's accusing tone. Peering up again, I click my tongue. You'll be back sooner or later, right? I could use a friend. Yeah, I sigh just now, forcing down the punk of loneliness. Enough, I need to get that spell. I straighten my spine and looked to the journal. You and me, journal. You and me. A page turns over by itself. Surprised, I make a face. You are temperamental one too, aren't ya? I turn to page 58, with extremely cautious optimism. A quick, darting peek at the sigil, no whispers. I resist the urge to lean in and listen. So far, so good. Now that I think about it, you do have some markers in your book. Why do you not look at those articles or whatever? The notes, more or less, to be fair, that he left. I place upright and overturned pencil holder and pick out a 2B, 3 milli thickness, and a blank sheet of paper from a stock shelf, civil post size, fine grain. I have noticed these details last time. Lost memories trickling in. This is good. I can do this. I am in my element. Performance of work. Fulfillment of duty. The confidence seems to jog something loose in my heart. Thoughts spring up. Inquisitive, intelligent, foreign. I hear them like a stranger eavesdropping on myself. The whispers were the problem. Need to drown them out. Use the breath through constricted nose. Make it continuous. It makes sense, I realize. I should try that. Taking a breath, letting it fill up my abdomen, then stomach, then chest. I release a thin stream. Setting it to rasp against my upper nasal cavity. The rasping is loud enough that I could imagine I'm hearing the tides. The other noises in the library all but disappear. It's working. I still hear the noises. I open to the sigil and begin immediately to copy. As my breath wanes, I hear a faint, wispy lullaby insinuate itself. No, not that, no. I take a quick breath and scratch my nostrils small, forcing the rasp louder. It clashes with the whispers, working but not for long. My pencil races. This guy clearly do not have experience from school. I mean, over there you had to race with your notes if you go by hand. Like, really. You're like, oh my god, my hand is about to fall off, but I have to write. Being able to write with both hands, I think, would be super useful for situations like that. My chest starts to burn, the urge to relax my breathing builds. I can keep this much up longer. Keep this up much longer. The voices hiss louder. My hands start to shake. Almost there, just a little more. Push! Squeezing the air out, chest on fire, pulse beating loudly in my ears. I finish copying and shut the book, putting the words to sleep at last. I smile despite the throbbing pain and dizziness. Yes, progress! I cannot wait to see the look on their face. I load the paper in the button and slide it into a pocket. Black salt, mantra, something for the blood. 3 more steps, I can do this. I knock on the journal, don't go anywhere, I'll return soon enough. Dodging the occasional wait, you want to tell me we have to go 3 times like that? Oh my god, dude, you suck at notes. Dodging the occasional piece of debris is becoming second nature now that I've crossed the barrier so many times. Will they approve? Why should I care? Getting the task done is its own reward, surely. Still, it's nice to be praised. Maybe I'll be in a better mood and reveal more of my past to me. That seems as likely as mashed potato deciding to just give up and sinking back down. You have to keep your hopes up, right? Not this again. I stop myself just short of walking the couch. Quiet of you, I mutter aloud. Where is Ilar? A soft clink, I turn around. They're not here. My nerves are on the edge. Papers rust nearby. I turn around again. Just book gliding too close. I brushed away. They are really not here. Was it something to do with our last conversation? Why is it always about you? Who else would it be about?
Maybe. Just maybe it's about them.
They ran away when I asked about us. Was it wrong to ask? What could have happened between us? Curse this useless head of mine. Catching myself talking with my lonesome again, I get up and pace about. You have to cheer up someone else when you're down. Right. I start picking up and glancing at the papers scattered here and there, hushing them. You poor things. More letters. Are those verses? Every waking commentary switch off? I think? I'm not sure actually. Track progressing. I have no idea what's written there. Where are we all? Things. Half remember that moment of terrible recognition of the familiar stranger. When a drunken dream, one never wakes of friends. Those, but kept my enemy closer, until they were inside. I have no idea actually about so many words here. Unsigned, but written in the same rigorous hand as the journal. No. The journal we were able to decipher. Some of those letters over here are kinda crazy though. I look all around the table. How many are there? None? Oh boy. I wanted to. I have whispered it inside and almost said it aloud, but whenever I endeavored to, something would interrupt me. A journal entry required editing, a specimen needed dosing, water sensors had to be refilled, a mantra for the next ritual demanded further articulation. The afternoon tea and Mapacha? Curiouser and curiouser. Who are these for? I can still do it, if you know. My intellect and the knowledge of a lifetime still fill my heartstree. Relics and mantras ready to the homunculus. Really weird manga, by the way, homunculus. Nearing full maturity. Nothing prevents this. No material. Oh my god, what's over here? Think? I'm not sure. Why can I not? It's on you. It's only. Sorrow, my brows wrinkle. Like the whispering in a journal, I can't suppress the feeling that someone is playing a joke on me. I need it. I need it to make sense. How? It's not the thing, it's you. What? It makes no sense because you are looking for a specific kind of sense. What should I do then? Look for different kind of sense, but how? The inner voice falls silent. Soft clinking behind me. I tense up, turn to look, expectant. It was only a triplet of glass caps whirling. Still no Ilara. For Lula's sake, where are they? What would they say about those letters? Something cryptic, most likely. Or something funny. Their letters often were. I need something like that now. I jumped to my feet and scanned the streams of like objects, looking for sparks of vibrancy in the gloom. There I hastened to a spot along the stream, eyes locked on an amber rosa paper ball above. Nearly tripping over a chair, it's too high. The chair, I upright it and step atop. Come on, you! I command my query. By the Dvarna, it seems to obey, dropping and spinning toward me. Snatching it, I plop down the chair and eagerly spread it to read. Now that's what we are talking about good writing. I know what you're trying to do, and I dearly wish these gestures of yours could erase the words like arithmetics, affection measured against pain, but it isn't so simple. I'm sorry. I wonder what I was trying to make up for. What else is there? I might have spent a tease time here resting or talking with Ilar. Surely I can turn that into the same amount of time gathering clues. Right? Maybe. I peer up, move the chair to a spot with the most activity, and climb up, set on plucking anything that resembles a discarded letter. Here comes a few now. There is so many letters, by the way. Can I have a look actually at something? Gallery, exactly, that's what I want to. Events. So we have 2 more CGs, or maybe there were some CGs already. I have no places. One. Ooh. And 3 blocked. I wonder what's there. Journal. Oh. Hey. Isn't this what we are supposedly looking for over there? Letters. Not everything unlocked as well. I wonder if you unlocked other stuff if you make other choices. By the way, in the mail I was told it would take 1 hour. I think we crossed 2 hours already. Like, what the heck? I've been cheated. One hand on the chair back for balance. I reach up with the other and snatch one in. Livridian, Sanguinmar, Deprint. Why can't I save? It's so rude, you know, the options disappear whenever there is a choice. This is the moment we want to save the game, you know. Because maybe this is the moment people want to take a break. I don't know. Eeny, meeny, moo. Whatever is the actual lyrics for that. Let's go Livridian, because usually in games left is the correct answer and left starts with an L. This is Livrian, starts with an L. Let's go there. Please don't banish the imps. I understand the singing can get tiresome, but I use the last of our rages Divironum leaves to invite them, and they don't grow on trees. Well, they do, but you know what I mean. I chuckle. So they can be silly too. Back to fishing. Another flock comes. Catch one in. Let's go. Tyril. Corrallit. Immerwald. I think Corrallit sounds the best. Sorry for letting you know like this, but I didn't feel like talking. I went out and will not be back until tomorrow. I won't leave you to deal with the Duke by yourself, but I need some distance and time to clear my heart. Were they often so broody, or did I just do a lot of things to follow their mood? Interesting, but I have a hunch it's not the whole story. One more. Oh, I can't choose. I can't sleep again. This worry, it won't leave me be. We've been digging for so long they forgot why we're doing it. Worse yet, we can't see anything else besides. The things we could have done, places we could have been. Yet you keep digging. With heavy eyes I study the letters. What are you telling me? Fingering frayed edges, spinning from them between fingers, I see. Fragments of a map, shredded, dispersed, if only I had time to piece them together. Not if you have something to say about it. Mashed potato. Exhausted, I dragged myself to the couch and slumped onto it, hugging the letters. Didn't realize how hard this was without Ilar being around, without anyone. Don't I want to leave? Shouldn't that be enough? But I'm so tired. Time to rest. I close my eyes and lie on the couch. Light dims, sound dulls, walls press in. Just for a while, just to freshen up. Maybe Lara will be here when I wake up. A window ledge breaks, and rain comes splattering up on me. Warm rain. Sticky, warm rain. Oh no, I stop annoyed. This will be a mess to clean up. I'm drenched already. How long was I asleep? Wiping my face with blood-covered hands, I surveyed the room. Blood everywhere. Sweet, dark, rippling. A right mess. Okay, you know what? Could it be that all of this is happening inside of our main character's head? And he actually did something to Ilar. And you know, he sees that blood on his hands right now. And it's referring to him. I'm guessing here right now. Could it be that? Ilar forgot to close the windows again. Again! Ilar! Shouted distant rumbles. Where are they? I'll be sunk if I'm cleaning this up myself. Ilar! I marched through the halls, up the winding stairs, throwing open doors to dark, empty rooms. Nothing. Where are they? Ilar! Where are they? Where are they? I'm worried now. Where are they? A trail behind me. I raise hands to my face. Metallic, greasy. Whose blood is this? Am I hurt? Can't find any wounds on me. No pain. Nothing. I pinch a bit of skin from my forearm. No pain. Nothing. I feel nothing. No, 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 no. Ilar, where are you? Ilar! Bolting down the hall, I shout. Ilar! I wake up to my own shouting. Hoarseness burns in my throat. A dream? I bolt upright, sparks swing in my eye, hairs on the back of my neck tingling. Someone is watching me. Candle flame jitter on the table beside me, shadows dance. Could I be imagining it? No. I know how I know. But I do. Should I look? What kind of question is that? On the count of 3 then. No, 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 now. I carefully turn my head and look into the gloom. Has it always been this dark in the library? Streams of debris undulate lazily through the air, occasionally shuddering in sync with mashed potatoes droning. A packet of deeper darkness in front of me draws my attention. A pair of golden jewels gleamed at me while being oddly stationary against the ever-moving debris. I squint. They're not glinting, but blinking. And then they start to grow apart, bigger and brighter. I deepen my breath to stay calm. It would benefit me not to panic already. I don't even know what that thing is. Yo. A jagged, hunched silhouette detaches from the murk, its movement sluggish and unsteady. I remember it slithering out from the darkened doorway and clawing at me. Sliding my feet down the floor, I begin backing away, keeping my eyes on the Lucasi. It doesn't react and simply continues creeping in my direction. Its large, pointy ears turn to me, revealing slightly pinkish interior. One of its hands or paws is cupped over its ears and its face is wrinkled up. Come closer and I give you something else to be angry about. As I'm considering my options, my heel kicks something. Reaching back my hands find a massive bookshelf on one side and unyielding stones on the other in a corner. I grope for something to defend myself with, but I get held of nothing but books. Soft covers at that. Terrific. I guess it will be an exchange of words then. Oh, you look different. As the Lucasi moves into the candle's glow, I can at last, make out more details of it than just a black outline. It's much smaller than I remembered, and it's not nearly as grotesque. Its black fur is rather large and endowed with a silken sheen. The creature lets out an exaggerated yawn and shudders, revealing a set of vicious teeth and stretches its arms overhead until its entire body is cartoonishly arched. A pair of large earrings glint dully. It was jewelry. I'm scoping escape route when mashed potato lets off a rumble and the creature throws its hands over its ears and makes a note. Meow! I blink. A funny sensation grows over my scalp. I squint at the creature. This black fur around the legs, pointy ears, golden eyes. Everything fits. Could it be your cat? Seeing the look on my face. Fuzz! No, I won't use that name until I can be sure. The creature tilts its head toward the arched doorway, a huge tail swishing. An electrical sensation shoots through me at the possibility of it. Go with it. Lura Santi, should I? My feet almost step forward on their own, but Ilar's warning resounds in my head and I pull back. Who are you? I ask. The creature stops and gestures at me to follow again, tail swishing impatiently, then turns away once more. Pressure squeezes my heart. It's leaving a piece of my mast, or an irresistible lure. What should I do? Follow Foos, the creature. Demand the answer. I'm gonna follow. Fuck it. The creature's silhouette is melting into the dark again. A tiny voice in my head says, "Go, you fool." Don't tell me what to do. I mutter and hurry after Foos pounds. Xe gets to my desk and hops onto it, planting her paw squarely on the open journal, then turns her back to me, reaches her paws back and growls halt. What? I look at the sheer height of the shelf. You cannot be serious. Be careful with that book. I push her on the shoulder, but Xe won't budge. Xe sighs and waves paws impatiently. Hold on. I give her a flat stare, Xe pretends not to notice. I sigh. Sing it. It's not like riding a humanity cat. It's the weirdest thing I've done today. I lean onto her back and lock my arms tightly together. Hold, Xe snarls and crouches. Yeah, I know how. Oh! I leap past Xe takes off. A dizzying crash. Later, we're on top of the shelf. A flash of cold, of sweat coats my back. Lura on a cow. What? Wait, I need a moment! We hurtle through the air again. I hold on for my dear life, asks and leaps from one beam to the next, her claws biting the wood. I don't dare look, but just feel the shock as we land, and with a terrifying sway as we dangle. Then a blast of cold air hits me as we begin to plunge through the darkness a brief eternity later. Breath is knocked out of me. I'm slammed from every direction as the world spins and spins and spins. I don't know how long I lie still, but the spinning finally stops. I grunt, spit out a mouthful of grass and open my eyes. Is this a garden?
To be continued. End of Act 1. The remainder.
Alright guys, hope you enjoyed. Oh my... I really need to remember, never listen what's the suggested time for the game. Because it's different when you play it normally and different when you actually, you know, record it and read it aloud. And yeah, I totally don't know what expected, like truly 1 hour. It took a bit longer, not gonna lie. I mean, you know how long it took just by looking at the time on the video. So yeah, the game is releasing, I would like to say, okay, I don't exactly know the exact date. It's releasing in June, current year, 2021. That's all the info I can give you, really. I mean, I could have... Okay, I should have looked at the store page actually, because it is supposedly 40,000 words. I mean, I guess with that I could go on with how lengthy the game would be. But yeah, the second act, yes, it is on Steam as well, so you can go there. Supposedly releasing in July. Apparently there is also something called a complete edition, and that is going on January 2022. Interesting. Oh, so maybe all the stuff in the gallery that we don't have is not for the other choices, but maybe for the other acts? I mean, still, it might be for the other choices. I have no idea. I mean, I will maybe look up later on my own, with skipping a little bit. Anywho, as I said, I mean, it's quite an enjoyable story, not gonna lie. there is some darkish to it. There's the secrecy because, you know, the guy doesn't remember a thing. And such. And doesn't remember his past life. Past life? It's not his past life, really. His life in general. He doesn't remember what happened throughout his life. This is nuts. I mean, it's hard to imagine really feeling like that. But, I mean, I'm guessing it will be super nasty. And tough to deal with, basically. Because, like, what kind of person you were, and so on. Anyway, that was the remainder. I hope I can push it on the last day of May. I mean, I think I will push it in one episode as well. But I need to render it, edit it a little bit still. Just a little bit like usual. Just a little tiny bit. And yeah. I mean, if there is differences to Act 1, well, you have to check them yourself if the game is out, as said. Link to the Act 1 will be in the description. And who knows, maybe when Act 2 and maybe even more acts, I'm assuming there will be more than 2, given that the Act 2 is scheduled for July and the complete edition in January, so there maybe will be more. I don't know. There is a possibility, I guess. So, what was I thinking about? Yeah, maybe we'll play in the future some more. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. You can check the game yourself, as I said. In the next game, I think the webcam will return. But yeah, as I said, I mean, it was middle of the night when I started recording, and I felt like a mess a little bit, but I still wanted to record. So that's the main reason for no webcam in this game. But in the next one, it probably will return, and still. Also, going right now is Tenkyame, which, well, which is a really fun story as well, so you can drop by there, because it seems like it might be also quite a lengthy journey, but it's really enjoyable as well. Funny, nice story. Okay, see you next game. Bye bye.